So we'll begin seated. And so today's practice is working on grounding. So this week we are growing our roots. We are grounding down, and so we're going to be just working through different types of postures and really focus on sort of this bringing the energy down. And so all of the poses and postures that we're going to do, these can all be very beneficial to help, right, when we start to feel a little bit scattered, when we start to feel disconnected, when we start to be too much in our minds. So in yoga we use this term a lot, and also in life we hear this, right? I need to grounding practices. But what does that actually mean? And grounding, in an essence, is just coming into the present moment and coming back into our bodies, feeling our bodies and feeling that connection and that support. So we're gonna work on sort of cultivating this energy and this feeling of connecting with the earth, bringing ourselves into the present moment, and using this to sort of build our foundations. Okay? All right. So we'll begin just seated cross-legged, and we'll close the eyes. And just begin to feel the connection with the mat below. Noticing which parts of the body are touching the mat. Noticing any sensations. Maybe you just let the body sway a little bit, front to back, maybe side to side. So just creating a little bit of movement, and notice how this changes the sensations below. And then slowly rock yourself back to center. Let the sit bones root down and begin to lengthen up the spine. And now with the inhale, you're going to imagine inhaling the energy up from the ground, up through the root, up through the spine, and to the crown of the head. And in the exhale, moving that energy from the crown of the head down along the spine, out through the sit bones into the earth. Inhaling, pulling that energy up from the earth through the sit bones, up along the spine, out through the crown. Exhaling, pulling that energy back down through the crown, along the spine, out through the sit bones, into the earth. Just take a few breaths like this, following your flow, following this rising and falling of the energy. And after the next exhale, slowly opening the eyes. Good. So we're going to come over onto hands and knees. The first pose we're going to do is child's pose. So this is where the knees come out wide, toes come together, and we're going to bring the forehead down. If it's too uncomfortable to bring the forehead down, the hips can be up, and you can come down just on the forearms and release the head. Otherwise, maybe we can sit the hips back over the heels. And here we're just going to close the eyes and let the gaze turn inwards. And just feel this heaviness through the body. Feeling the earth pulling yourself down. Feeling heavy, feeling relaxed, feeling supported by the earth below. And just letting yourself sort of melt, trust, surrender a little bit more into the pose. Taking one more breath here. And then coming back up onto our hands and knees. So let's bring the wrists under the shoulders, fingertips spread forward, hips over the knees. We're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to begin to lift the hips up as we melt the heart through the shoulders and relax the head. Keep the knees nice and bent so we lift the sit bones up towards the sky as we come into our downward facing dog. Take a moment to press into all of the fingertips. Reconnect all of the fingertips pressing down, shoulders come onto the back, melt the heart. And then just walk your dog, so lowering one heel at a time towards the mat. And with the inhale, seeing that energy pull up through the hands, up along the spine. And on the exhales, that energy moving down through the back of the legs, down towards the mat. We'll do that one more time. Bend the knees, lift the sit bones, inhaling the energy from the hands up along the spine to the sit bones. And then exhale, begin to straighten the legs as the energy moves down the back of the thighs, down towards the heels. Good. Lowering back down onto our knees. We'll bring one foot forward, coming into lunge, and we'll slowly bring ourselves to standing. And moving to the top of the mat, we're going to come into our mountain pose. So letting the feet be hip width apart. We're going to begin with our base. So even here, maybe we just slowly rock back and forth, feeling the weight shift forward to the toes, backward to the heels. And then finding that center of balance where we're grounding equally through the four corners of the feet. So behind the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, outer edges of the heels. Lift all of the toes up off the mat. So we really feel those four connections grounding down. The arches of the feet are lifting. And then from there, slowly lower all of the toes down, keeping this energy, keeping this strong connection with the feet. Begin to activate all of the muscles in the legs, starting from the ankles. Focus on the ankles, strengthen the ankles, the calves, feeling the thighs and hamstrings hugging onto the bone. Begin to use those transverse abdominis. So we're using our corset muscles, hugging in, letting the chest naturally lift to the sky as the shoulders fall away from the ears. Close the eyes. Send the energy down through the feet and press even more through the feet to feel how that lengthens your spine and you reach out through the head. Don't forget to breathe. Feeling stable, unwavering, connected to the earth. One more breath. Slowly opening the eyes. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. So let the palms be apart, shoulder width apart, fingertips active, reaching for the sky. From here, we're going to bend the knees and let the tailbone reach back. So coming into our chair pose, Chair takes a lot of trust as well in ourselves. So the weight begins to gently shift backwards. So maybe the weight is a little bit more in the heels now. Reconnect to the core. So pulling in the core set muscles. Maybe we can sit back a little bit further, trusting ourselves, trusting our legs, trusting. Reroute, send that energy down through the feet. Sit back a little more. And inhale, begin to straighten the legs, lifting back up, extended mountain. Exhale, bend the knees, let the arms come out nice and wide. We're gonna swan dive forward. So lead with the chest and then letting the hands come down to the mat. If we're having any issues with blood pressure or feeling dizzy, let the gaze be forward. Otherwise, let the crown of the head release down, coming to forward fold. We're going to be here just for a few breaths. So to begin to open up the back side of the legs. And once again, restart at the feet. Feel the feet grounding. So sending that energy down through the legs, from the sit bone down through the four corners of the feet. Strengthening the ankles, strengthening the calves. Maybe we begin to lift the sit bones a little bit higher and maybe straighten the legs. Taking nice long inhales and exhales out through the nose, letting the gaze be soft, either behind at the back of the mat or forward if we begin to feel dizzy. Taking one more breath here. Bend into the knees. Gently lift the gaze halfway. And then grounding down through the feet. Reach the arms out and up. Extended mountain. Exhaling, palms together, slowly lowering them down through heart center. Good. From here, we're going to step the right foot back about 3 to 4 feet. So the stance isn't too wide. We're going to do triangle pose. So the right foot is turned in. So 2 options. Right foot is either parallel with the back edge of the mat. If you see the left knee turning inwards too much, I want you to turn that right foot in at about 45-degree angle. This will help the left knee align with the left toes. So knee needs to be in line with the toes. We're gonna inhale, reach our arms out and up, lengthen through the spine by grounding down equally through both feet. And then on the exhale, this right hip is going to pop backwards. And we're gonna reach forward with that left hand, and then keeping the left leg straight, the left hand comes down and the right hand reaches up. Yes, so coming into our triangle pose. And now the gaze can be either down at the left foot or up at the ceiling if that feels good on the neck. So just paying attention to what feels good with the neck. And then we're gonna gently press the hips forward. So hips are coming towards the computer, shoulders are coming back. So keeping a nice opening here through the heart, softening. Maybe you can begin to lower as you come deeper into the pose. It doesn't matter where we're at, listen to the body. Keep sending that energy down through the feet. As you inhale, the energy is coming up through the feet, out through the fingertips. Exhaling, energy is coming in through the fingertips, down through the feet. One more breath here. Good, next inhale, hug, use the core set muscles. Reach that left hand forward, coming up to center, hands to hips. Turn now the left toes in, the right toes out. So left toes either parallel to the back edge of the mat or they'll be turned in about 45-degree angle. Find what works for you and your body. Make sure that the right knee is in alignment with the toes. So we don't want the right knee falling in towards, I'll show this way. We don't want the right knee falling in. We want it in alignment. Inhaling, arms reach out and up. Exhale, left hip comes back as we reach forward with that right hand, and then just let that right hand come down, left hand reaching up. If we feel that you're hyperextending and crunching into the knee, gently bend the front right knee just a little bit. Activate the thigh muscles, reaching through the fingertips. And once again, letting the gaze be down at the foot or up at the left hand. So other hand down, Auntie. Right hand down, left hand up. Yep, there you go. Excellent. And chest towards me. Yep, chest towards me. Yes, 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 perfect. Excellent. Gently press the hips forward. Shoulders come back. Grounding down equally through both feet. One more breath. Then using that core, reach that right hand forward, coming back up through center. Hands to hips. Turn now the right toes forward, left toes out. And now we're going to bend into that front left knee. So here we're going to make sure that the knee only comes over the heel. If you feel the knee coming too far over, you move the foot back. So knee only comes up into over the heel. We're going to inhale, reach our arms out to the sides. And this is coming into our warrior two. So here you'll feel the left shin pressing forward as the back right calf is reaching backwards. So opposite poles, extending that energy out as the feet are grounding down equally. This back right thigh is internally rotating. The top left thigh is externally rotating. So we have opposite energies going through the legs, but the same amount of energy going down. Legs might be firing up, holding here for one more breath. Good, bring the hands to the hips, straighten the front leg. Turn that left foot in, left foot parallel to the back edge of the mat, turn that right foot out, toes facing backwards. Inhale, reaching our arms out and up. Exhale, bending into that front right knee. So making sure that right knee is coming to the pinky toe side. If we look down, we want to be able to see the big toe. Arms are reaching out as if we're being pulled in both directions. The gaze is soft over the right middle finger. Sending the energy down equally through both legs. Feeling steady, feeling fierce, feeling strong like the warrior mamas we are. One more breath. Good, bringing the hands to hips, straighten the front right leg, and turn the right toes forward. So now both feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. So what we want is the outer edge of the foot in line with the outer edges of the mat. We're going to bend forward. I'll show from the side. So we're going to inhale, roll the shoulders back, let the heart lift, look up towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, lead with the chest as we begin to hinge at the hips. So pelvis begins to tilt forward. If we need to, bend the knees. If the hands are feeling tight, and we can just bring the hands onto the floor. Once again, if we're feeling dizzy or having any issues with blood pressure, we can keep the gaze forward. Otherwise, you can release the head and let the gaze come behind the mat. Maybe as the legs begin to open, you can begin to straighten the legs as the tailbone reaches up. And maybe you can begin to walk your hands back and align with the feet. but just listening to your body. Even if we're staying here with the knees bent, this is fine too. Focus again now on that energy as we inhale, moving the energy up from the earth into the feet, up along the back of the legs, up through the tailbone. And exhaling the energy back down the legs, down through the feet, down into the earth. Feeling the earth pulling the body, finding again that heaviness within the body as the earth and gravity just sort of pull itself down. One more breath here. Okay, inhale, everyone bend the knees, lifting back up on the hands underneath the shoulders, gaze forward. We're going to bring the hands to the hips, activate your core set muscles, and inhale, reaching the heart forward and up. We're going to heel toe our feet together. Excellent. So coming back to the top of the mat, we'll do one more standing pose. So stepping that right foot back again, this time a little bit of a wider stance. So now we're going to do about 4 to 5 feet. We're going to do side angle pose. So this is sort of a mix of, well, triangle and warrior. So we're going to lining up our alignment. So back right foot parallel to the back edge of the mat, left knee in line with the front left toes. Inhaling, arms lift up. Exhaling, so legs are a little bit further apart. So we're going to bend a little bit more into the knee. So as the hips begin to open, maybe our legs go wider apart. We can get a little bit lower in our stance. And then from here, we're going to lower that left forearm down to the left thigh and reach that right arm up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, reach the right fingertips out to the corner of the room, palm facing down. Yes. And then really feel this grounding, especially through the back right foot, moving that energy from the back right foot out through the right fingertips. Once again, gently press the hips forward. As you roll that right shoulder back, maybe you gaze up at the right fingertips. If hips are feeling open and you want to go a little bit lower, maybe you can drop the hand to the outside of the left foot. Not necessary, so stay here if we need to. One more breath. Good. Inhaling, use the core, come back through warrior, thighs might be burning. Hands to hips. Straighten the front left leg, turn the left toes in, right toes turn out. Making sure left foot aligned with the back edge of the mat, right toes turned, knee coming to the pinky toe side. Inhale, arms lift out and up. And exhale, bending into the front right knee. Keep the knee coming to the pinky toe side. Bringing that right forearm down to the thigh, palm facing up. Inhale, left hand reaches towards the sky. And exhale, reaching the palm out and over the left ear, palm facing down. Gently press hips forward. As that left shoulder rolls back, maybe we gaze up at the left palm. Maybe if hips are open, you can lower the right hand down to the outer edge. Otherwise, stay here. Using the core muscles, don't collapse into the shoulder. So using that core to keep the body nice and long. One more breath. Inhale, coming back through our warrior two. Hands to hips, and exhale, straighten. Turn the right toes forward, and we'll heel toe our feet together. And just give the legs a nice little kick out. And now we'll come back down to our mats. So we're going to come into reclined cobbler's pose. So we'll begin by letting the base of the feet come together. So hips externally rotate, but try to keep the four corners of the feet connected. And then once we have that, we're going to gently come down and let ourselves lie on our back. And so here, once again, connecting with the earth. Maybe you want to place one hand on your heart, one hand on the belly. You can close the eyes. And just feeling how the earth gently opens the hips, how gravity slowly pulls the knees just a little bit closer to the earth with each breath. Letting the gaze go inwards. Feeling the body soften as it sort of melts into the mat. Just holding for one more breath. And then release the hands. Let the hands come underneath the thighs to give a little support as you bring the knees back up towards the ceiling. And this time you're going to let the feet become wider than the mat and let the knees fall inwards. So this time letting the thighs internally rotate. And once again, you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. And just noticing how that internal rotation of the thighs changed a bit the natural curve of the spine. Notice how it changed a bit, what parts of the body are connected with the earth. And taking one more breath here. Releasing the hands. Bringing, heel-toeing the feet in towards each other. And we're going to just bend the knees, bringing them into the chest, giving ourselves a little hug. Maybe letting yourself do a few circles on the lower spine. And feeling the lumbar section, feeling the whole spine here connect. Maybe you begin to play with trying to tuck the chin to the chest, seeing if we can lower the neck a little bit closer to the mat as well. Might not touch, that's okay. Trying to flatten as much of the spine as we can. Keeping the shoulders relaxed away from the ears as we use the arm muscle to pull the knees in. One more breath. And then relax, let the arms fall open to a T, palms facing up. And we're just going to let both knees fall over to the right. Supine twist. So the back of the head can remain on the mat, or maybe we drop the gaze out over the left palm. If that feels good. If not, feel free to keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. Trying to keep both shoulders on the mat. Once again, feeling this, the power of the earth, this gravity, just pulling the body, slowly releasing the spine in the supine twist. not having to do a lot of effort. Just feeling this heaviness, feeling this grounding, feeling the earth's gravity pulling you down a little bit more. Next, inhale, bringing those knees back up towards center as the left hip drops. And then exhale, letting both knees fall down to the left. Trying to keep that right shoulder on the mat. Gaze can be upwards, or maybe we let the gaze come out over the right hand if that feels good. Eyes can be shut or gaze can be soft, whatever feels good. Whatever your body is naturally calling you to do. Trying to keep both shoulders connected to the ground. Letting the earth's gravity just pull yourself a little bit more, deeper into the twist. One more breath. Inhale, pulling those knees now back up towards center, the hips realign. Maybe giving yourself one more hug and squeeze, knees to chest. And then exhale, release and relax the legs long. Let the toes roll out, heels roll in. Take a moment to adjust the shoulders. So bring the shoulder blades back down the back as the arms come out to the sides and the palms face up. Close the eyes as we come into Shavasana, corpse pose. Once again, just let the body relax, soften. Taking a moment to notice where you feel. What parts of the body do you feel connecting with your mat? Trying to relax and release into those parts just a little bit more. Letting this heaviness take over. As you begin to sink into the earth. Feeling supported, feeling connected, feeling rooted into your body, into the present moment. Taking one more breath here. And then allow yourself to just wiggle fingers and toes. Maybe move the wrists and ankles. Letting your body now do whatever it's asking to do. So maybe a nice stretch. Maybe gentle twist or windshield wipering the legs. Before we slowly roll over onto one side. Let the eyes remain closed, feeling this connection now through the side body. And when you're feeling ready, slowly pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Taking a moment to let the body rock around a little bit again, side to side, front to back. till coming back to its center, reconnecting. Once again, with the breath, inhaling, moving the energy from the earth up through the sit bones, up along the spine, flowing out through the crown. Exhaling, pulling that energy down through the crown, down along the spine, out through the sit bones, and into the earth. Taking a few more breaths like this, following your flow. And after the next exhale, slowly opening your eyes. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.